When you get paid, it's hard to know what to do with your money. It's Friday, and you go have an amazing weekend with your family. Create memories, do fun things, and when you get back to the grind on Monday, you look at your bank account and it's back at zero. Feeling overwhelmed with every payday, unsure how to hold on to your hard-earned money before it all disappears? Stick around. Today, we're going to go through 7 transformative steps to do every time you get paid to ensure that you will build that foundation and start living the life you dream about. Jason Sipple here. I'm your go-to financial mentor, money mentor when it comes to all things money related, especially the infinite banking concept and how it builds a guaranteed foundation and legacy simultaneously. We're, as Americans, tired of living paycheck to paycheck and just hoping that one day, someday, we can have the financial freedom we dream about. If that feels familiar, stay tuned, because what I unveil today is just a slightly different twist on what most financial advisors and CPAs will tell you. All progress begins with being honest with yourself, and this applies to everything in life. Know exactly what you're spending your money on for your essentials, like your housing, your food, your transportation, because this knowledge is power. It's your financial baseline. We must, if you want to wrestle, you gotta weigh in. And there's 2 sides of money. There's the math side of money, and there's a psychological side of money. Often the psychological side is overlooked, and we're going to dive into both of these things today to make sure you know exactly what to do with your money when you get paid. Step 1 is the financial check-in. First things first, let's get real about where your money's going. This isn't just about the numbers, it's about facing reality head on. There's no more ostrich effect. There's no more, and we're not talking about the bird running super fast, racing buses, racing cars, bikes, whatever. We're talking about sticking your head in the ground and just saying, hey, I'm not going to worry about this. I'm going to go have fun, and I'm not going to worry about how much money is coming in, how much money is going out. I'm not going to worry about my debt because it hurts too much to look. And this is an actual psychological phenomenon. It's called the ostrich effect. We don't want to stick our heads in the ground, and this is why we have to start being honest with ourselves. And it's normal. It's normal. I'm going to show you some statistics that'll shock you, but it's normal to feel this way. It's normal to not want to see what's going on because we don't really know what to do. We haven't established our money habits yet, and that's okay. Let's go through this together, because this knowledge and the application of this knowledge will give you a stepping stone to the freedom that you've been seeking. Once you establish that baseline, once you know what that looks like, well, then it's time to start doing what the wealthiest people do. It's time to start doing what you read in every financial book when you're looking how to build, keep, and create more wealth, and that's paying yourself first. Or it's as simple as just following God's commandments. Remember, what's the first 2 commandments? Number 1, loving God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And number 2 is love thy neighbor like thyself, which implies it goes God, number 1, number 2, self, number 3 is a neighbor. And if you don't like that analogy, think about when you're on the plane and the stewardess or steward tells you, okay, if something happens and the mask comes down, who puts on the mask first before helping the children and helping the elderly? It's you. We must be able to help ourselves first. So remember, the first step was weighing in, was getting that baseline. It was really understanding that we want to make sure that all the expenses I talked about are about 60% of what our total earnings are. And if it comes out that you're looking and you're like, hey, some things are out of whack here. I'm spending way too much on my car. I'm spending way too much on multiple subscriptions to all these different streaming shows that we don't even watch. We have Disney and Amazon and Prime, and it goes on and on and on. Like, look, those little things might be financial leakage, holes in your financial bucket. Once we do this, then we want to make sure that we're paying ourselves somewhere between 10 and 20% before we pay the neighbors. Remember, the neighbors are the grocery guys, the car guys, the house guys or gals. It is everybody else. First, we must pay ourselves, and this is not only for today, this is also for our future self. When we start doing that, start paying ourselves first, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put aside 1 month of those expenses once you have that baseline established. If you do this, then you're already doing better than 78% of Americans. 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, which is shocking. It was 68% just 12 months ago. We're up another 10%, which means that we're consuming at all-time highs. We're over $1.13 trillion in credit card debt, consumer debt. So we're not going to focus right now on recommending that you're putting away 3 to 6 months. We just want to establish the habit of paying ourselves first. So let's go ahead and check out what's going to be the next biggest thing to do when you get paid. And remember, if you're liking what you see here, go ahead and smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and ring the bell. It will turn blue, maybe. So we're going to go to the next step, which is we're going to look at our high debts. We're going to eliminate the high debts. We're going to put all of our debts. We're going to get how much we owe on each thing, what's the APR, what's our monthly payment, and what are we actually paying. Get this stuff down on a spreadsheet. This is step one, but just if you haven't gone and really dove in and got an honest look, we want to go ahead and focus on the debts first. Because what's better than, buying something and not having to pay for it monthly or annually and over again? If you do that, you're paying too much. Think about this. If you buy something on a credit card these days, even if it's 0%, if it's not paid off by the end, average credit card rates right now are almost 23%. That means if you make buy a $1,000 iPhone, like this one right here, when you buy that phone for $1,000, if you didn't pay for it right then, or finance it yourself, which I'm going to tell you how to do, that means that you're paying too much for it. $1,000 that's 23% means you've paid $1,223 for that iPhone in year one. And you're going to get more back from paying off the debts before looking to build that financial 3 to 6 months that we're going to talk about later. But right now we want to focus on paying off the high interest debts. And when you do these things, it's going to just give you more cash flow. It's going to give you freedom. It's going to give you peace of mind because you're going to feel that burden, that elephant on your back just kind of lift off. You're going to reclaim your financial power. Now let's go into step 4. Now I'm just going to say step 3 and 4, they can be interchangeable. They can be interchangeable. They're not necessarily in order, but I'm saying it's easier if you don't have surplus money, if you haven't established paying yourself first, to start tackling the debts once you save that 1 month. Because we want that one month there in case you have an emergency. You want to have a little bit of flexibility for your psychological just safety. So step 4 is building your foundation. Now, if you go back, you look in the Bible, we talk about a man that builds his castle or his house in sand. And what happens in that parable? Well, the skies open up, it rains down, the rivers rise, the wind blows, and the man's house is gone. This is what's happening to so many Americans. We're not building that solid foundation because we're going out and we're following something that's called Parkinson's Law, which means that as our means rise, our needs rise to meet that. So remember our financial baseline. We want to stick to that. It doesn't matter if you're making, doesn't matter what you're making, doesn't matter if you're a millionaire. It's really about knowing that baseline, establishing that lifestyle, shutting down the financial leakage, and now since we're already paying ourselves first, we're going to start building our foundation. And we're going to do this through a specially engineered whole life policy from a mutually owned, dividend paying whole life company. We are not, I repeat, we're not doing this through an IUL. There's too many variables, and the insurance company is in control of your IUL contract. I want you to be in control of your money. That's the point with the radical ownership and action that I believe will lead to your happiness. So we can go back a step. If you already had surplus money when we get to step 3, your debts, well then sometimes it makes more sense to put the money into your infinite banking policy, to take a loan out, pay off the higher interest debts, and now recapture and recycle that interest back into your family. But if you have a lot of debt, like I talked to an individual who makes plenty of money, about $250,000 a year, which is pretty good, and he has about $300,000 of bad debt, not including his mortgage, and is saving about $300 a month. In his situation, he has some money in his savings. It makes more sense for him to take the money in his savings, pay off the debt, free up a couple $1,000s a month by paying off those high interest credit cards that are averaging around 23-24% for that particular individual, and then run the money through the foundation where it's going to not only grow tax-free, be accessible at any time, it's going to protect him from liens and judgments, and it's going to leave his family with a guaranteed legacy. This is how you build your castle, your future, on a rock-solid foundation. Let's go ahead and look at number 5 and start talking about your emergency fund. Remember, back in step 3, we said, hey, we're just going to do 1 month in case you have something really crazy happen. Now that you have established better habits, you're making progress because you know what to do when you get paid. Then in step 5, instead of storing your money in your conventional bank, now we're going to store that 3 to 6 months of liquid cash. That means cash that's accessible in your infinite banking policy. That way, if you lose a job, if you have a life emergency, because remember, the one constant in life is what? Drop it in the chat below, comment, let me hear your opinion. What's the one constant in life? I hear some taxes, I hear some marriage, or relationship struggles, or struggles in general. But the one constant in life, other than death, that is going to happen inevitably. I don't know anyone who's won that game yet. If you have, give me a call. I want to hear about this. But the one constant in life is change. Change is guaranteed. So you want to make sure that you have 3 to 6 months of your essentials. That's your baseline that we established in step 1 of your baseline. You want to make sure you have that established and store it in your infinite banking policy. Because why? This is where the banks have stored over $202 billion. And with change coming, it feels so good to have a financial secure way. That way, if your boss is being a jerk and you've been having a side hustle for years and you've been wondering when is it time to leave and go out and build your own thing, well, maybe that time is now, once you have that 3 to 6 months and you know that that's all the ramp up time you need to really go out and create, solve people's problems, make more money, and build your dreams by helping more people. Now let's look at step 6. This might be my favorite slide. This is something that I am very passionate about, and I believe that if you're here watching this, so are you. So step 6 is get a return on your best investment. Again, in the chat, in the comments below, what's the best investment? Who's the best investment? Why, it's you. You are your best investment. This, the 8 inches of real estate, right there are the 6 inches of real estate between your ears, depending on how big your head is. So you want to invest in yourself. You want to go out and get a new skill. Because remember, life isn't doing things so I can have things, so I can be something, right? It's like Tyler Durden said in Fight Club. We're all out there, working jobs we don't like, spending money we don't have to impress people that we don't even like. What's the point of that? Let's have some fun. Let's build a community. Let's be who we want to be. Let's be really congruent with ourselves. Let's know what our skill set is and do what we love. I used to get annoyed when people say, Jason, just do what you love. I'm like, Well, I love riding my bike. I love swimming. I love, doing, playing sports or doing art. Like, who's going to pay me to do those things? Or I love learning and talking to people. I love people. Who's going to pay me just to love people? Well, that's a whole nother subject, but let's talk about step 6. Get a return on your best investment. What skills would make you better at your job if you're an employee? What skills would make you a better leader? What skills could help you reach more people with your message? We all have valuable messages. Investing in yourself will give you the biggest ROI of anything. I've already invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in the last 4 years in myself. And the first step was paying $700 in 2019, going to see Tony Robbins at Unleash the Power Within. Changed my life. Changed my life forever. There's no way that pre-2019 I'd be here doing this video to teach you. So if you're enjoying what you're seeing here today, like I said earlier, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and ring the bell to be alerted for new content. Your support helps me create these videos, helps me go and dive in to teach things slightly different because I'm looking to shift that paradigm, give you better habits, better patterns. So now that you're investing in yourself, you have a financial baseline, you're paying yourself first, you're storing your money in a place where it's guaranteed to grow for the rest of your life. It's got a lid on it, and it's not going to change as long as you keep paying yourself first. You've built your secure foundation. You're putting your money, almost jumped ahead. So let's go. Number 7, now it's time. You've done all the other things. Most financial channels are going to tell you that this is like your 3rd or 4th step is to start investing your money to make a spread, to put your little green men to work. Because why? Does your money have to sleep? Does your money have to sleep? No, your money doesn't have to sleep, but you do. You need rest. Gone are the days where it is glorified to be a workaholic, to work 14, 15, 16, 18 hours a day. That's not healthy. It's not something that you can keep doing forever. And when you do that, do you have focus on your family? Are you focused on the most important things in your life? And that's just being you. You're enough today. Now, God knows you're enough. Just go out and perform once you know. So, got off a little bit there, but go put your money to work. Go find places that you know about it, you like it, and you understand it. And then you make a spread. You run it through your guaranteed foundation. Then you go out and hard money lend. You go out and put it in crypto. You go put it, maybe you're flipping cars. You're flipping real estate. Whatever your thing is, maybe you're building your business. But go put your money to work because that's how you truly multiply your wealth. That's how you become wealthier, by creating passive income. When you create the passive income, then you have your baseline and you get to a point where you have enough passive income to cover all your expenses. That's the freedom you want. That's the freedom you want. There you have it, a foolproof plan that not only manages your payday and your money more effectively, but it also empowers your financial future through the art, the process of infinite banking. If you're ready to take control and stop living paycheck to paycheck, infinite banking may just be the key that you're looking for. Stick around for the next video, how to pay off your debt using infinite banking. So right here, the next video, how to pay off debt using infinite banking. And again, if you've enjoyed this, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and I'll see you in the next video.